All right, so today we're going to be working on these coding challenges, and this is in response to what I get asked a lot, which is, how do I learn? Well, usually I have already kind of worked on like looking through the documentation for something myself, or I've watched an introductory video on something, and I played around with it enough to kind of know what I'm doing. Then what I do is I find either a live challenge, or actually just go to a website and try to recreate something. And then whatever I'm doing, whether it's recreating something or doing a challenge, I always add my own stuff on top of it. And I use Google liberally, but I try not to go back to the actual code and look at it unless I'm trying to like duplicate something on a site and I want to see how they've done it. But so that's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to take these 4 challenges and do what I want with them. And when we're done, then we'll be done. So hopefully we can get through all 4, but we'll see. It kind of depends on how much extra stuff we add. So I may not do it exactly as it's written, and that's just fine. All right, let's come over here and get rid of some of this stuff. And let's come into challenge 1. And I took screenshots of all these to know what they're supposed to look like. So here, this is a slide out, slide in menu. I didn't look at how he did this, but I think if I remember correctly, there's nothing special to it. It's just that it needs to slide out. So let's go ahead and open up this right here, and let's just go live with live server. That should pull it up over this way, hopefully. Hi from Ukraine. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, so here it is right here. And let's look back at this challenge. So it looks like I need to add a nav bar up here. All right, so let's come inside here. Hey, look at that. Title bar, slide out nav. Okay, so this is the menu section. Let's see. I'm trying to think how I would do this. So I think let's go ahead and start. Let's see. I think I would separate those 2 things out. So this is, what does this say? Site title? Okay. So let's call it site title. So I'll come in here, and this will be an H1, and I'll just say site title. All right, there we go. So we'll need to style that, obviously, some. And then over here, we're going to want 2 things. Let's see how I want to do this. I guess he did set this up for desktop to work this way too. Let's not overcomplicate this. So let me have a button here, and let's give this an ID of menu button, like that. And then inside here, let's look for a hero icon, and let's look for a hamburger. Let's come in here. Let's see. Right here. Let's just paste this SVG. Sure. All right in there. That should show up there. It's just real small, it looks like right now. I might need to actually set this with something other than... I need to actually give this a width, maybe. Let's do a height of like 24, 48. There we go. All right. That might be a little bit big, but 32, something like that. Let's see, if I'm going to make this thing, I don't remember if it needs to animate. It might be better to actually just do my own like span tags or something. Maybe let's do that. So we'll do span. Let's just call this, we'll do this as a div and have span with span times 3. Okay. Oh, we don't need it like that. Deleted the wrong number now. So let's do it like that. I think that should work. And we'll just use those spans to actually, we'll have to style them out. But all right, so I think that's good for that. Next, I'd have the nav area, which is where I'm going to have all those links. They need to say something. Home, about, contact, and shop. So I think the way I would do this is I'd make it a UL. LI, and then inside here I'd have home, and copy this down a few times. Come over here, about, contact, and shop. So about, contact, and shop. Okay, so I think we're set there. So I don't think I need to do anything else there. So let me open this up, close this down. Solution styles, open state transition. Okay, so he's given me some basic stuff in here. So let's come in here to my H1 and let's do color of white to start with. This whole thing is inside of a, what was that thing called? Menu. So we'll go dot menu, and here I'll do display flex and justify content space between, like that. And then let's do align items center. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my nav, and right now just display none it and get it out of there. Let's take our menu button and work on that next. So menu button. Let's see, did that have, I think it was an ID. So let's say font inherit. It should pick up any font properties, which we don't have anything in there. I should probably also come in here while we're here and just say add a few extra attributes here. So let me space this out. We'll say aria controls, and we'll control this. We'll just call it the nav menu. And let's see, I think this needs to be its ID, and then aria labeled by. There's not like a controlled by, is there? Controlled. No, I think it's supposed to be labeled by. And here I'd point back to the menu button ID there. I'd probably also aria expanded. This needs to be set to false, and we'll just use that to toggle the state of this as well. Okay, so I think that's right. What was I doing? This menu button styling, that's right. So if I come back over this way, let's do background color is transparent. Let's do border is none. All right, and then we'll do height. And here I think we'll need to set this. Maybe what I should do is add some padding. And then let's get on our spans down here. So see, I don't know that we have any other spans, so I wouldn't normally do this, obviously, in a real project, just have a span here. But let's say height is like, I don't know, 3 pixels. Width, maybe like 20 pixels. That's going to be way too small. 24 pixels. And then background color, we could do white. Let's see, span 1, span 2, span 3. Oh, it's inside here. Okay. It should still... I think that should still work properly. Let's check it out. Come over this way. There it is, somewhere in here. Let's see what's going on. There's my div. There's my spans. Where you at? It's just not there at all. Okay. Well, let's do display block. Maybe they'll show. Weird. Okay. So let's give this thing a name. Let's say like class of nav icon. I don't know, something like that. And let's come back over this way. And let's say display grid gap of like 0.2 rem. There we go. I don't know if that's exactly right. Again, I would just kind of guessing on how he's done this. 0.4 rem. Let's give these a little bit longer of width here. That looks a little closer to how he did it. And let's do a border radius of like 0.1 rem, just to give that a little rounding. Okay, there we go. Let's also come in here and do cursor of pointer. Cool. All right, now when it comes to this nav bar, let's go ahead and do position of absolute. Do I want an absolute? Sure, I do. All right, we'll do z-index, something ridiculous, 1000. Background color here. Let's choose that 444. Let's see, do I want some kind of background? What does he have? Oh, it's not that color. Cool. Is there another color? It doesn't give you that. Okay. So let's come in here and grab this right here. And where's that CSS? Down this way. Let's paste this in. There we go. We also need, let's do top 0, bottom 0, padding of like 2 rem, something like that. Anything else I need? I think I want a box shadow. So this is where like I said, how I kind of learn, where I generally follow it. I think it's important to be able to follow a design perfectly. And when I have a client who sends me something where I'm working on something with a designer, I am doing that. However, I think when learning, it's more important to make it your own, so that you have some ownership, so that you get to kind of play around with some creativity. It makes it more fun. So that's what I do. All right, so inside here, let's say like 0, 0, 2 rem. Sure, that'll work for now. 5 rem, and maybe let's move this over a couple pixels. That way it's just clear. Although maybe, I think that'll work. I think what I actually want to do though, I want this whole thing to actually go over the entire area, so that if I click, we can close it with a click too. Which again, I don't think he did, but we're having fun. We can do what we want. All right. So let me come in here, grab this whole nav, and let's wrap this with an abbreviation. We're going to call this nav area. Sure. Actually, let's make this like this. Nav area. And we'll control this entire div over here like this. Okay. And then what I want is, let's see, how do I want this to be? I actually want this to be opaque. So let's do that. We'll get rid of this for now, because we'll put that on the nav itself. Same thing here, put that on the nav itself. That's cool. Let's just change this to inset. So inset of 0, so it goes over the whole thing. So now it's covering the entire area. Then what I want to do is grab just my nav, and I want to add these things to it, like this. And let's see. My background color also needs to be changed. So background color needs to be changed to the 2.6 right here. Okay, now this also needs to be position of absolute. Top 0, bottom 0. All right, so now if this is expanded, it should, let's see, this might need to even be a little bit more. That might be too intense. 5.9. That way just you can click over here and you recognize that it's covering the rest of the screen. Let's do something a little less dramatic here. Sure. Okay, so we're going to call that good. We've got our nav links. So maybe let's say class nav links. Let's call this, so am I going to do anything with the LI? Nah. I'm going to do everything here. So let's come in here, grab this, and we'll say class nav link, like that. And that way we've got access to it. So let's come down here and we'll say nav links. And here I want display grid, gap of 1 rem. And sure, that works. Okay, for my nav link, let's first of all say color white. I think he had them underlined in his. Is that true? Sure he did. Look at that. Okay. We'll say something like 2 rem. Oh, font size 2 rem. Is that way too big? Yeah. 1.3. Sure. Okay. Anything else I'm missing? Looks like there may be over a little bit more, which probably means what I need to do is say width 100% here, and then say max width of like 300 pixels. That's probably even a little bit too big, 200 pixels. So on mobile, it should look fine. If I come in here, let's come down to here. Maybe we make this a little bit bigger just to cover those use cases. Or we could do media query. Nah, keep it like this. I like it like that. Okay. All right. So I think that's right. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any comments or anything. I've just been going away over here. All right. So I think we're going to call that good. The only difference is going to be, I think, up top. Let's see. Let's go like 5 rem, 2 rem, and 2 rem. And that way we've got space, because I do want this nav button here to be position fixed. Oh, fixed. And then we'll do Z index of like 1001. All right, keep it right off the top. Probably also want that off the left. So let's go left 2 rem. I think that should make it work. And maybe let's scrap the padding. See, now this should align, right? I'm getting some padding there, though. Aren't I? Why am I getting padding? Who's messing up my padding? Aha. Padding. Get out of here. 0 padding. Okay, I think that works. And that way it still stays up no matter what. Now, obviously we need to transition that. So let's do this. We'll say it with the menu button has aria expanded equal true. If I can type. Then I want to take the nav area. I mean, technically it's siblings, so we can do it like that. Oh, I mean, we'll need to. And let's then change. Let's see. Yeah, so let's go ahead and set this. We'll go transition. Sorry, translate. We will need that eventually, but translate 3D. We'll go negative 100%. Like that. 0, 0. Yeah, okay. Oh, now this is... Let's not do position fixed here. Let's just do relative. That should still work. And then... This needs... Well, I guess I could just do it down here too. Padding 2 rem. Keep it off the side. Padding inline. That's really not what I should be doing there, but let's just do this and get rid of this. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, because it's all the way off the screen right now, is at this point I'm going to translate 3D. And I'm using 3D because it's more performant. It engages the GPU. So if I change this to aria expanded true, it should move the nav area all the way over. Let's also throw on a transition here, and we'll do just on the transform property, we'll do like 300 milliseconds, cubic Bezier curve, make it snappy. All right, so the other thing is, notice how it kind of pulls off. So I actually don't want this on right now. I'm going to add it on only after I've clicked. All right, so I think we're basically ready for JavaScript maybe. Let's pull this open. I think this challenge probably is going to take the longest out of all of them if I remember correctly, but I mean, I'm not super concerned. So let's grab the nav button. I also probably want to make sure nav icon is not clickable. So let's come back down here first before I do that. Nav icon, where you at? Nav icon. So let's do pointer events none. That way I can't click on those spans or the div. I don't think it would change a whole lot, but just in case. So we'll say menu button equals document.query selector. And what we're going to select is the menu button, I think. And then why don't we just do this? We'll do, see, do I need to do, I should be able to just do a query selector off the back of this. So let's do that. Or not query selector, an event listener. So we're going to listen for a click. And I'll pass it to something called handle menu button click. All right, that does not yet exist. So we'll say function handle menu button click. This should take in the event. And for right now, I'll just console.log the E. All right, so if I come over here and I click this, I should get the pointer event, and I do. Cool. All right, so what I want to do is, actually, let's keep this open over this way. Close this down. Let's see what I want to do here. I guess what I want to do is say E dot, and this should handle also if I come over here and I tab to it. Let's see, can I tab to it? Do I have any kind of, see, it's a button. There we go. Okay. So if I, yeah, every time I hit enter on that button, which we'll probably want to change that styling because that looks stupid. All right, we're going to say E dot, what do we want to change? Set property, E dot target dot set property, set attribute. I always forget which one it is. I think it's set attribute. Set attribute, attribute, where you at? E dot target dot set attribute, I think. And it's aria expanded. And for right now, let's just set it to true. All right, so if I come in here and I click, there we go. The other thing I want to do is, let's see, I don't need to grab that inside here. I want to grab the nav menu and apply that transition style to it on the first click. I mean, I guess I can just do it every click. It's not going to hurt it. So nav area. So document.query selector, let's call it, sure, nav is fine. Document.query selector. And we're going to grab the nav area, like this. And in here, we're going to say nav.style.transition equals. And then I've got this here on my clipboard. So let's just, let's see, transform. I thought I did like that, except this needs to be properly spaced. Yeah, okay. Well, that's kind of dumb. I mean, I don't mind it, but what I want is the whole background to be there immediately. So maybe let's change that up. Let's just do it on the nav itself, like that. And then what I'm going to do is come over here, and that's fine. What I want is this nav area right here. So let's also transform this. Let's translate 3D it also negative 100%, 0 and 0. And then we'll also move this over, except in this case, so let's grab both of these. Here's where something like SAS would be nice that you can nest these. I guess I could also do like a is selector, but this is fine. So we're going to grab the nav and do the same thing. So now if I click, that didn't work at all. What did I do wrong? Translate 3D. It's over 100%. Now I want to move it back to where it should be. Oh, you know what? Did I never update this over here? Where are you at, man? Where'd you go? Nav? Uh-huh. Yep. You're the one. Nav links. Oh. The nav is that. Let's go nav links. Okay, so nav links. Let's see what we got now. Just so much better because I forgot to change it over here. CSS nav links, and in this case it's not a sibling. Did I mess up anything else? Well, yes I did, because I put that on the nav. All right, maybe something happened. Where are my actual links? Where'd you go? Just gone completely off the screen. Oh, how did that happen? Here I am, solving all kinds of things. Where are my links? So, I mean, even though this is higher up, let's move this here. Actually, let's just move it here. I think maybe the cascade is destroying it, which seems kind of odd, but it's a possibility. Let's come in here. No, not true. Huh. I'm wondering what I did wrong there. Let's figure this out. Nav length. Oh. No, that still didn't change it. The nav area should move over, which I don't know why I'm calling this nav area. This is the same as the nav. Right? Let's just double check my HTML. No, it's not. Okay, so the nav was right in the first place. Nav area. All right. Let's come back over here. So what I want is to grab the nav area, move that. Then what I want to do is grab the nav here, not as a sibling, which is, I think, the problem before. Let's move this back up top like this. Change this to my nav again. So I was like half right, half wrong. Well, let's see first. Okay. It's still not working properly. So I've grabbed the nav. Let me make sure that's what I think. It's this right here. Is that the thing I have moved? See, this just contains all of that section. If I come over here, if you see what I'm doing too, feel free to let me know because I'm sure it's something stupid. Nav. Area. Okay, that's fine. Moving that over. The entire nav section. Should transform, translate 3D back to 0. Still not sure what I'm doing here. Well, let's not waste too much time on it. Let's just remove all our cool transitions because it's not worth taking up this much time on something like this. Okay. So it's gone forever. That's gone forever. And that's gone forever. So now if I click, it just pops out. Okay, that's fine. All right, the other thing I want to do is I basically want to set this to the opposite of whatever it is. So let's see, there's a way to get this with JSON.parse or stringify or something. So maybe this actually we'll do is open. And here's another chance to use, let's see, to use Quokka here. Let's just run on save here. And I don't have to have that open. Let's come in here and say e.target. I'm trying to remember how you can do this to where you always get back a Boolean. There are a couple different ways. Let's see. I think you can do this and say get attribute aria expanded and console log that. Document is not defined. Oh, that escalated. Let's come over here. Since it's yelling at me in Quokka, let's see if it'll yell at me over here. Is open true? Is open true? Is that what I want? False. Because when I clicked on it, it should be false. Okay, so then let's do this. Let's set this to the opposite of is open and see if it toggles us back and forth. Nope. Let's come over here then. Click true. So that worked the first time. Why can't you work the next time? The other way I think you can do it. Can I just grab this? I don't think I can. Yeah, because it's always going to say false. Let's see. Attribute. I've done this before, I know, on the channel even. Attribute to Boolean. Yeah. Well, that's dumb. I think maybe JSON.parse this will give me the same thing. I kind of feel like that's a thing. False. True. Hey. I knew it was something JSON weird. Okay. So now I can just set that to the opposite, to where whenever I click it, it goes in and out. In fact, what I should probably do though is let's see, because I actually want this to close or open. So let's write another function when I click on the actual nav background or whatever. So let's try that. So we'll say function toggle menu, and this will just check all this stuff here. And then what I'm going to do, let's pull this out too. Yeah, let's make a bunch of small helper functions. So I'm going to say const that stuff, and it will just return this like this, and we'll pass in, I think this should be our menu button. So let's strip this out and say menu menu button. Then I'll come up top here, const menu button, and I'll set this equal to that. And then this can just take in menu button right here. So we'll go menu button. And then this toggle can be the same thing. It could just be a function expression like this. And let's see, this can be an implicit. All right, and then we'll handle the button click separately. So first I'm going to say button state or something like that. And we'll set it to is open. So I'll get back true or false, because that should help me. Let's see, do I even need to do anything inside here besides call these? I mean, I'm never really going to use that is open later. Let's just do it all together. Making things more complicated than they need to be with Chris. That's going to be the new name of the streams. All right, so I'm going to come in here and say const is open, and set it back to here like we had it in the first place. Then I'm going to come in here and say button or menu button, not bar, menu button. Set it to the opposite of that. We'll get rid of that. And then here, I mean, we just need to toggle the menu, but in that case, this might as well just be toggle menu. So let's just do that, toggle menu. Goodness, making way too much work for myself. Let's also grab the entire nav area. So we'll say nav area, and we'll do the same thing. Nav area, except in this case, I actually do want to run a little check here and pass in the event. And I want to say if e.target is the same as the e.current target, which is the actual nav area. So e.target is the thing you click on. E.current target is the thing the event listener was set against, which is the nav area. If they're the exact same, only then do I want to toggle the menu. And here I'll have to run it like that. All right, so I think that should work. Come here, click. I should be able to click over here. That should work here. Click there, it should close. Okay. I mean, that is the basics. I guess we also need to do something funky with this. So let's say, I think we can do all that in the CSS. So let me come over here. And let's just copy this down. And what I'll say is if there's a span 1 in here, which I think is what I name these, then I want to transform, rotate it 45 degrees. Oops. Let's just double check that that actually works. Click here. Nah, not at all. All right. Span 1. What did I call that? Span 1. No dash. Look at that. So rotated. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to like sit around manually changing these. Let's just come over here and let's just get these where they need to be. So let's say it's there. Let's also translate it in the Y direction. And can I just like, how do I change this again? I think I can just select this maybe. Start going up and down. Yeah. So it probably needs to be over here. Let's translate it in both directions. Let's go 10 pixels and 22 pixels. And then I'll just basically move this around till it looks about right. So it should be more or less, that's not what I want. I want over here. Get off. Like that. Then select this. I mean, it's just going to be a small dance till we get it right. Sure. Let's say something like that. All right. So that's a mess, but let's use this. Here. Okay. We'll also do the same thing for the next ones. So span 2, this one should be easy because it's going to be called this. Opacity 0. All right, it's just going to be gone. Span 3, let's figure out where this one should be. So let's take this, add it to our span 3. This should not be 45. It should be the opposite of 45. 225. No, that's not right. What do I want at 90? 145? Sure. All right, now let's move these things around. So let's bring this down here. Let's bring this over here. I mean, it doesn't quite look right. I guess we can use that middle one as our basis point. All right, so let's call that good. I'm gonna grab that, put that here. And then let's come back up to our span. Oh, was I working on the wrong one? No, I wasn't. Okay. Let's come back here and move this to look a little bit better. Why does the one look way longer than this? Do I have that at the wrong angle? Let's just save it and see what it looks like. That wasn't right at all. 225, maybe that's what this was supposed to be. Oh, I never copied this over. Oh, Chris, now I gotta redo all that. Okay. Well, that could have been worse. Could have been better, for sure. So let's come back in here. Let's do the same thing. So I'll come back in here and copy all this out right here. And let's add this in here. 45, that'll work. That's in the middle. I guess we want it in the exact middle of the other one. So something like that. Come in here, copying the same thing, except in this case, I want it to be perpendicular to that. I guess negative 45 would make sense. That's what I should have done. All right, maybe this will be so much better. We'll be glad we spent all this time moving around spans on the page. But that is the brief, so that's what we're going to do. I mean, that looks so symmetrical to me. Let's do that. All right, we're going to call that good. Let me make sure I copy this one out before I refresh everything and lose all my work. All right, and then this one should be opacity 0. Okay, let's refresh. I click here. Look at that. Things are happening. Does it look quite right? I guess if those are 7 and 7, this should be 7. Sure, I'm fine with that. All right, we could also probably throw, let's do span 1 and span 3. We could do transform or transition here. Let's do just on the transform property, 200 milliseconds. Let's do 100 milliseconds. Cubic Bezier curve. So snappy. Look at how snappy that is. All right. Now, there are other things I would do if this were mine. I mean, you can click off here. We should probably at least handle some event listeners. And then just for the sake of time, we'll move on. So let's do this. This might actually need to be its own thing so that I can use it as an event listener. So let's say const is open, and then we'll return this here, and then we'll just check current open state or something like that equals is open. Sure. And then we'll set this to the opposite of current open state. All right, now let's go ahead and do this where we have an event listener. I guess let's just do it on the window. So document dot our window dot add event listener. We'll listen for a key down. And I guess let's just do this inline. So we'll grab the E and say E dot key equals escape. I think that's what it's called. I'll say if that, then toggle menu. Nope. Not quite yet. If that and is open is equal to true, then we will toggle the menu. Let's see if that works. Click it. There we go. If I click it normally, it shouldn't do anything. And it does return focus here. And the reason it returns focus here is because that's the proper thing to do when it comes to accessibility. And you get that by default because we have ARIA controls and ARIA expanded by and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. Man, I really hate that tab state. Let's change that up. Okay, let's come in here and grab everything we would want that for. So the menu button and the menu links. Where's my menu links? Or my nav links. So let's grab this and the nav link. And for all of these, I'm going to say, I guess, let's just do the box shadow thing I like to do. So we'll come in here with the box shadow and we'll say 0, 0, -2. M is fine. And let's see, this needs to be 0. Yeah, so this is the blur, and this is how far it's off, and then we'll say that it should be white. So we'll have two different box shadows, that one and this one. This one will be 4, and this one actually should be our darker color, I think. I think that should work. Actually, maybe let's make it our light color. Let's make it that color. And maybe we should make this one like the more tanny color, this one. All right, so you can't see any of those, but now what I want to do is grab both of these and say, let's see, focus and focus. And when those are focused, I want this to be outline of none. I guess we should also add some padding here probably. So padding 0.2M. Which is going to move everything off, but I think that's fine. I don't remember if I had padding here. No, I didn't. Okay. Then what I want is for both of these, I'll copy these down and say focus visible. So only if you're tabbing to these, not if you're just selecting like on mobile. Then I'm going to take these box shadows and all I'm going to do is move them to where they're 0.2 and 0.4 M. And these should be points as well. All right, and then it should kind of like pop it out. So if I come in here and I tab to it, there you go. That's a thing. All right, and same thing here. If I come to these, that looks better to me than what it would normally be like. Let's, I guess let's throw a little border radius on this as well. Like 0.2 M. Maybe we can back this off a touch. There we go. I mean, looks better than it was, right? And then I can cancel with escape. I can cancel clicking off. Is that the brief? Totally. Let's do one more thing while we're already here. So you can tab to these. You notice that. But what I want to do is I also want to control when I'm inside of there to be able to use the keyboard navigation arrows. That's what I would normally do. So let's say when I'm in my nav links, Yeah, let's just do it on the nav links. So I'm going to need that as well. So we'll say nav links is equal to nav links like that. Tip calculator challenge fundamentor. Hey, nice. That's awesome. We're working on some, I don't know how long ago you guys messaged because I have not been paying attention. You can blame the current people because earlier nobody was messaging anything, so I just stopped looking. We're working on Net Ninja coding challenges, so he's got 4 of them. Right now we're working on the first one and totally going overboard, but when have we not? All right, nav links down here. I'm going to do the same basic thing. So we'll say, oh, you know, the other thing I need to do, we'll do that in a second. Let's come up here, and I'll just add this as a to-do. What do I want to do? Oh, yeah. Add, remove, tab indexing to those. All right, so we've got my nav links, and I want to do a key down. And let's do if e.key. We'll do if e.key does not equal. Can I do it as an array? I don't know. I think it's arrow down. Let's just make sure that that's right. So we'll come in here. I'm going to have a whole, I guess I could just do a switch and not worry. Let's just do that. All right, so we'll say switch something. How do I do a switch again? JavaScript. I always have to look this up. Why do some things stick in your mind and other things you just cannot remember no matter what? Okay, I thought that's what it was. I don't know, but they just do. So we'll have case here of arrow down, and the switch should be on the e.key. And if that happens, let's just console.log hi or something. Man, I am totally overdoing this. This is going to take a while. Do I want to do this? Yes, I do. All right. Back inside here. Then we'll break it. We'll do the same thing for all these. I'm going to want arrow up as well. I think this has a space, maybe. And then we want the home and we want the end, because this is what you normally do on these kinds of things. And let's just say like down, up, something. What is this? Home and end. And then, hey, welcome. Let's get rid of these because that ain't a thing. And we'll have a default case where we just return or break, I guess. Okay, where nothing happens. Let's see, is that right? Case. Oh, I don't need these here either. So what I needed was to move these to the end like that. Okay. Now let's see what happens if I come over here. Let's pull up this. Well, what did I do wrong? Okay. Still not right, because that's just for the switch. All right, pay attention to your errors. All right, coming down here. Once I'm on here, isn't that what I can do? Now I should be able to tab. Evidently not. Let's just console.log the e.key to make sure I'm actually getting something. Maybe I just, okay, so it is all together. So arrow down, arrow up. The other thing I want to do in each of these, let's come in here, is e.prevent default, so it doesn't move the page up and down or left and right or whatever. All right, then I'm going to come in here. If I'm on here, I should be able to get arrow down. There we go. If I hit home or end. All right. I'm turning this thing into a project, but this is how I learn. Like, I picked the basic project, then I just added whatever I want to it. So now we've got this cool tab thing. We can hit escape. We can hit click over here. We can tab to them, and now we're going to be able to control with our arrow keys, which is how I would normally do it anyhow. So here what I want to know is if I'm in the last, let's see, nav links. I also need to grab a nav link array or something like that. And Oh, let's grab this and spread into here all of the nav link. Like that. So now I can figure out the index of the thing that I'm on. So the other thing I'm going to do is const current selected equals document.active element, and that should give me the active element. And let's say here, I think I'll just try to write it and see if I get it right or not. So we'll say selected. Let's say if navlink array selected, let's say 0. Let me just double check that's what I want. If it's the first item, no, if it's the last item. So nav link array dot length -1. I'm sure I could probably use the at syntax at this point, but if that equals my selected, right? This could be ternary too. So let's say if that equals selected, then what I want to do is nav link array 0 index focus. I'll talk you through this in a second if this doesn't make sense. Otherwise, I want to nav link array. No, I want a selected dot. I'm in the link. I could figure out the index and then move on from there, or I could just go up the DOM tree. So if I'm here, I could go up to the parent, over to a sibling, and down to the child. Is that a lot of work? Yeah. It's probably better to go to the next index. Because let's see, let's do nav link array index of the selected. And then we'll do selected +1, I think, dot focus. Let's see if that works. All right, so I come over here, I hit down, nothing happens. All right, active element is not a function. Yes, it is. Document.active element. Document.active element. What is this? It totally is. Look at this right here. Oh, it's because I called it some kind of method. Let's try again. Okay, down? No. All right, you can't focus on that. Selected +1. Let's see what this is first of all. Let's just console log this. How about that? Console.log this. So I'm going to come in here. 0, 1. Hey, I'm getting the right thing. So index of. Oh, okay, so I was grabbing the index and trying to focus off that. So what I need to do is say nav link array like that and then focus on that. Let's try that. I think that's right. No. I guess we go up the DOM tree. I'm not really sure what the trouble is. Can't I just say like, how do I normally do this? I don't remember. Next sibling element or something, right? Let's say selected dot parent element. Let's just do it probably a hacky way. Next sibling element dot child element child first child dot focus. Sure. All right, so that's kind of hacky, but I think, oh, come on. Let's get rid of this focus. What am I getting here? All right, we'll try one more time, and if this isn't working, then we'll just move on with our lives. Because, okay, so I'm getting this, which is what I want. So go up to the parent, next living element, grab the first child, first element child dot focus. Okay. I said it before, but we totally figured this out. No, we did not. Okay. So much confidence, so little reason. All right, so basically all I want to do is write some switch that like keeps track of where we're at. When I hit down, it goes down. If it's at the bottom, it loops up back to the top. But I don't know, these kinds of things take a little bit of thinking, and I think we've done far more than we need to on this project. So I'm going to kill this so we can actually get more than one thing done. But you see how much fun that is when you like take whatever the project is and then you do whatever you want. You know, like you got the basic brief done, but now you can come in here and tab through, click off, use the escape key. Okay. Let's come over here and let's look at challenge 2. I think I should be able to just do this. Let's close all this stuff down. Challenge 2 right here. There you go. I think if I remember correctly, you just basically are doing some kind of check on this. And if it's correct, you add green to the checkbox and that kind of stuff. Do I have a check already? I do. Material icons. Has he already pulled it in? Oh, yeah, it's cool. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Okay, so enter your email. So if I type in like Mario at netninja.dev, basically I'm going to change the state of all this based on, so this is pretty much just CSS and probably a check in JavaScript. So let's do that. So we'll take the input, which I'm guessing is this thing, and we'll say that when it is focused, I want the outline color to be green. Let's just change it first. Okay, so that is working. So what I want is for it to be 777. And then what we're going to do is if input focus, let's see, isn't there like a valid? Let's just do if focus. Then we look at the valid and say outline color is green. Does he have like a green color we're supposed to use? I don't see it. So let's come back over here and grab my color picker and grab that. Okay. Change it out here. Look at that. If it's valid. Okay. So I think if we're going to do our own type checking, number 1, let's see, type text rather than type email. I wonder why I did that. Maybe he's just going to do all the checking in JavaScript. Sure. Let's say that. So we'll say focus input.valid focus. We'll change to that. And then, oops, what we can also do is change. Is that right? Sure. What's the other thing? Form field. Material tick. I don't know exactly how. What if I just come over here and check? Let's say like color green. Okay, so you can just update the color on that. Well, that's nice. So we'll take the tick and do the same thing down here. We'll say tick like that. We'll say that that should be green. Okay. I think the other thing is I think this input, if I remember right from the intro video he gave, this is actually down. So let's move this like this. So we'll say tick. I think the opacity was set to 0 because it like slid up and then translate. Let's not do that yet. So I can make sure I remember which way this goes. Transform, translate in the Y direction, like 20 pixels. Pushes it down. Yeah, okay. Then we'll go 0. And then here, what I'm going to do is say transition on the opacity, 200 milliseconds, ease in and out. That's fine. And then let's also do it on the transform. And then here, what we're going to do is say opacity of 1 and transform translate y is 0. Okay, so that should be totally valid here. Maybe we also add these things when we, because it's like sliding out on page load. It's fine. Let's do this one kind of quick so that we can just get moving. He's already linked up everything else. Index. Okay. So let's come in here, grab this index, and we'll say input document dot query selector. And what I want is my input tag. And then let's see, we'll do input dot add event listener. We're looking for key press. Pins value. Key down. I don't think it really super matters. Maybe I can do a change on here actually. What does this do again? I thought it was like, I don't know, key down. Let's just go back to that one. Input, add event listener. Let's try it again. Change. Invoked when the event is dispatched when there's any change at all. Sure. And then let's just do it inline here. Take the event. And we'll console.log the e.target.value. Okay, so if I come in here and I start typing, key down. Let's try that. Okay, so that worked. Yeah, that's fine. So what we'll do is take this as like entered email or something like that. Entered email. And then let's do a check on this. Am I going to write regex live? No. Regex 101. Hey, thanks, Jay Hanfield. Appreciate it. Let's come over this way. There's like a library or something you can search. Let's do like email validation. Let's find one. No description, but it's 8 years ago and there's 18. Just sure. Let's take that. Okay. Let's take const email regex equals that. I think that should work. I don't think that has to be a string. And then we'll say is valid. And we'll say that this is email regex.test. And I'm going to pass in the entered email. And then I'll console like this. Let's see if that works. False, 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 false. If I say Mario at coding in public.dev. True. Okay. So we'll just use that to basically decide whether or not to, we'll say is valid. If is valid, then let's also just put this in here directly. I don't need to have a separate thing there. We'll say if is valid, then input dot class list dot, let's make this a ternary. So if valid, do this. Yeah. Dot add valid. Otherwise, just get out of here. Remove valid. Let's see what happens. Something here. Yeah, you're right. That is not. All right, that shouldn't work. Maybe we can even make that red or something, but I don't think he does that. Let's say Chris at coding in public.dev. It's valid. Okay, so that almost worked, except that this tick did not update color. Focus valid. Let's come over here and just double check. So it is the next sibling. and plus tick. That should work. Outline color. Oh, I need to change this to color, which also means I can get rid of this. Okay, so there we go. It's valid. It's not valid. Cool, we're going to call that one done since we took so long on the other one. Let's go to 3. Let's see what 3 is. Oh no, I just killed VS Code. All right. Momentary pause while I get everything reset up again. Okay, let's come over here. Oh my. Let's open up coding challenges. Come in here to 3, go live. Oh yeah, this is a toggle switch. I remember this. So let's come over here and look at our image. 2 states. Okay, so it's just a switch, a checkbox, but we are totally going to make this look awesome. Okay, so it's all inside our switch here. Sure. So let's come over here. Oh, he's even given us numbers and CSS variables. On and off. Toggle height and width. Okay, cool. So let's come down here and let's look at switch is what it's called. Let's see, I would tend to say no. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so let's just style this switch. So we'll say height is equal to var toggle height, and width is equal to var toggle width. We'll say background color is white. Sure, okay, there it is. Let's do border radius. To make sure always get 100, a perfect circle, you can go 100 V max. Radius, another one of my spelling errors. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to have an item inside here. Probably the easiest thing to do. Let's see, let's do the background. The background is that, okay. So we'll make this a var off to start with. Right? Oh, it's because I duplicated it down here. We'll do an after pseudo element. And up here, this needs to be position of relative then. And then this background color is going to be, it will be white. That will be correct. The only difference is that this is going to be height. And then this needs to be after, or content first of all. We'll have nothing because it's an after element. So you need that. And then position absolute. Whoa. This should be height on both of these. And I'll have to change this back to width. So just chose the wrong one. Okay, there we go. That might be, it needs to be a little bit smaller, right? Doesn't he make it inside of it? Yeah. So let's just do a calc on here. So, oops. So we'll do calc. That, one of the nice things about CSS variables is you can do this, 0.8. There we go. Let's go left of like 0.2 rem. Top of 0.2, we should probably do top 50%, transform, translate y negative 50%, just to make sure it's actually in the middle. So that works. And then we basically just need to toggle back and forth. So let's also say cursor pointer. So I think what I would tend to do is actually make this thing below this. So I'm going to totally defy Sean and do my own thing. I'm sure Sean would be totally fine with this. Okay, because this is what I would typically do, is put it inside of here. And then I would take this checkbox. Let's see, I would say checkbox, box, position, absolute. And then I would say inset 0. And then I would say appearance of none. And I probably also would do WebKit appearance WebKit appearance. What is that? WebKit kit appearance of none as well. I thought that would hide it, right? Opacity 0, whatever. Get out of here. Where are we at? Type, input type. Let's take all this. Oops. Why is this not overwriting that? Wasn't it a checkbox? Type checkbox. It didn't have a class. Okay. So let's grab this attribute and we'll make that the selector. So right here. There we go. Which means I don't really need to have this opacity on it. All right, so it's technically below that. And let's see, the other thing I want is cursor pointer. Why is this not showing on the whole thing? That's weird. Because I want it on the entire switch. Well, what if I put it on the whole toggle? Let's try that. Toggle that. Does that work? Why is this thing? Oh, I think it's because. So this should be pointer events none. No, that's not going to work because it's going to kill my checkbox. What happens if I do that? Okay, yeah. What if I do this? Select the whole thing still. I think that would still work. I don't think that's going to give us any problems. Okay, let's also put this thing in the middle because I think he just like put it somewhere in the middle. So we'll say, let's just position fix it. No, let's put it in the middle here. Display grid, place items center. Next, we'll work on 3 challenges. One of these days, I'll do some more like UI challenges. I've done several JavaScript challenges, so I do enjoy those. But all right, place item center, that'll work for me. Now I just need to handle the toggle. So let's do this. Whenever checkbox is checked. Oh, you know what? That's why he did it that way. So now I'm thinking about that. Okay. Sorry, Shine. You are older and wiser than me. Actually, I don't know if he's older than me, but I'm confident he's wiser than me. So let's come over here to the checkbox. Let's open back up that CSS file. And I think what I want to do then is just set the position relative here. And I think everything should still work. So if I do that, say that's position absolute, that's fine. Then all I have to do is say that when this is checked, so I don't even think I need any JavaScript at all for this. Checked. Then I want to take its sibling, which is my switch. And I want to take its after. This is kind of a mess as far as how I've ordered this. And let's see, I want to translate it. Translate exit 100%-ish. So close. All right, let's come over here and let's see. I can't set this to pointer events none because if I do that, then I can't click it. Okay, so something happened. It was pretty poor, but something happened. So I think what I want is let's just put this cursor on anything we can possibly find. Let's put this behind everything. And then I think that will allow us to click OK. And then this needs pointer events of none. And I still have the switcher up, the cursor up here. Okay, let me think through this. So I got the checkbox back behind it. I shouldn't really need it behind it though. If it's, just not getting this cursor though. I'm not totally sure why. Well, let's first of all get this thing in the right place, and then we'll move. We'll change the final thing. Where's that at? Switch after. So I guess we're going to need to translate it there, and then negative 50%. Is that right? So maybe we move this like this. So we'll go 2%. Maybe I just set it off that, what do I have that at? 0.2 rem. Okay, and then when I click here, that it needs to be 100% of its parent width. All right. So I think I just need to change this to right 0. That's not right, but it's closer to it. And then we'll do because I want to animate that little toggle. I don't think he does, but if I remember correctly, let's go background color first of all, and we'll go var on. Oh, not on that. We'll have to do that on the switch itself. 0.2 rem. See, because I can do it like that, but it's not going to move it over. All the way. Like it will there, but it's not going to allow me to transition this. It's just going to snap. Switch after input. So I'm still selecting the input here. Can I just put a cursor here? What was I thinking? Cursor pointer? I mean, come on, Chris. How complicated do you need to make this? This shouldn't be here. And then, let's see, this whole switch should be pointer events none. So that I'm not blocking that. Okay. There we go. Let's just switch this out real fast and grab the switch. And here's where we'll change the background color to our var of on, off, on, off, on, off. Okay. The other thing we should probably do, I don't think it's here, but we should probably say like aria label is like toggle something on, off. All right. We're going to call that one good. Let's go to the fourth one. Now we're moving. I don't know that I really need to go that fast. CSS only tabs. This one could be challenging depending on how much I want to do. So yeah, I'd rather spend time on something like this. Hey, look at all this. CSS only tabs. Okay, so I got to think through this then. I think he gave a hint in the video, but I don't remember what it was. So that's not going to help me. Tabs, panels. So I think I could use the target selector in CSS. I know how to do this in JavaScript. If we have time, we'll add some keyboard events to the tabs once you're selected on one of them. So we'll try that. Let me set these up first of all. So what's our image say? Product details. Does he give us any of that content? No? Okay. So we'll say button. Let's see how I want to do this. Aria. Yeah, so I think this needs to say aria controls. We're going to point this to like panel 1. And this isn't going to be read out, but it will connect these two panels. And then we'll say aria expanded maybe. I think that's technically what you would do here. And set this to true by default. The first one would be. Then we'll give this an ID of, let's call it tab 1. And then what we would do is come down here and say panel. Let's see, should that be like an article or something? I think maybe I would make that an article. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. All right, come in here and I need aria labeled by. and this would point back to tab 1. This also needs an ID of panel 1. Anything else? Nope. Oh, we never updated the tab indexing on those other things. I just remembered that, but that's all right. I'll leave that to you. Let's also give this thing a class. So we'll give this a class of, let's just call it tab, I guess. All right, and then this was product details. And then let's close this one out officially. We'll space this down, move this in. All right, let's copy this down 3 times, and then I'm going to grab all of this, and we'll just use text pastry, and update those, and same thing here. Okay, and then let's do the same thing down this way. Let's say like content or something like that. You could also use Emmet to expand these out to start with, but I wasn't sure exactly what I want, so I figured I'd start like this. So I'll grab those, same thing, grab these, same thing. Okay, I think that works. Content. It is ready to go. Let's add some stuff. Product details, delivery info, and then returns info. All right, and then what else did he have here? Looks like some kind of H2-ish, and then some stuff. So let's grab these one after the other. Product details, delivery info, and returns info. And we'll add those here. So there. And then let's grab these right here. Oops. Like that, we'll grab all these and wrap them. Wrap with abbreviation of H2. Sure. And then we'll have a paragraph. Let's actually come back, grab all these again. We'll do a paragraph with like lorem 35. Sure. Okay. And maybe we'll just add some extra stuff so we can tell it's changing. Well, I guess we'll tell by the header that, so that's fine. All right, so that's mostly good, I think, on the HTML. Yeah. Let's go CSS here. Challenge 4. Oh, look at all this. So width. So I'm just setting up a default width. I don't love that, but that's okay. I mean, to make this responsive is a lot more work, so I can see that. For a challenge, you just want to keep it more simple. We might spiff it up. We'll see. Okay. Back over here, the background is that. The tabs, I guess, should be white everywhere. Let's see, since this is no longer needed, maybe let's just bring this down below. That way we've got a small image to work off of. Let's see, so it looks like that needs some padding, but I could do that on the panels instead. The border, let's do like 2 pixels, solid, my F2, that'll work. No, it's not. It can't work because it's, come on. It's the same color as the background. Let's go down here, something like that. Way too dark. Sure, that'll work. Okay. It's still a little too dark. Sure, that'll work. Do border radius here. Let's do like 2 rem. No, that's not what I meant. 0.2 rem. I think that's what I had it at originally. Okay, so I think that's the, let's just double check. Tabs is everything. Okay, yeah. So we've got class of buttons. And then I've got a class of tab. Okay, that's fine. So let's take our buttons. Here we go. So buttons, and we'll say display flex. Align item center, I guess. Justify content, space between. Sure. Then we'll take our tab like this. We'll say flex 100. And then background color is that white, I think. So I guess we could just background color inherit from its parent, and then border of none. Might have to update that. Font will be inherit as well. That'll inherit all the font properties. Let's see what else we got. So it looks like the whole section here, border bottom, 2 pixels, solid, something, something. That should work. Let's add some padding to these. What is that? Let's do 1 rem. Do they need padding between themselves? I don't remember what it's supposed to look like. I'm guessing these have borders around them too. So, assuming that's the case, let's just take the tab nth of type. We'll take the 2 and say border right 2 pixels, solid D. That one works. And we'll do the same thing, border left. You probably want to do like 2N technically, so that if you added more, it would just do that to them, but I think that'll work. Okay, so I think that's good. Now the only thing is I'm guessing, I think that might be a hover state, but I think I'd still want it to show if that was selected. Well, it's not showing over here, and it's not yet selected. So yeah, it must be just a hover state. I think I want to change that. So what I think I'd want to do is actually move this down here, like that, and then maybe not. So tell you what, let's hack it a bit. And let's say tab nth of type 2n before content nothing, because I want to update the border color, but if I do that, it'll update the side border color on this one, which is kind of weird. We'll say height 100%, width of 2%, background color D3, D3, D3. Let's get rid of these. 100% of its, I think that means these have to be position relative. I'm going to make this position absolute. Top 0, left 0. I mean, how hacky is that? Pretty hacky. Let's come over here with after, and then right. Then what I can do is say that if the tab, let's see how I'd want to do this. CSS only. Hey, thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Hi, Abdullah Salam. I'm sure that's not right, but hi. Let's see. How would I want to do this? Well, I'd want to make it to where if this was selected. Let's also make sure we have pointer of cursor on these. Pointer of cursor. Cursor of pointer. Cursor, pointer. I think actually these need to be links. I think that's what needs to happen. And then let's just take this right here. Oh. All right. I think what this needs to be is pointing to the href. Needs to be the panel text pastry. Like that. Wait. Like that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see why the entire thing turned this color. I must have messed up the structure somehow. Abdul. Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's much easier for me. Panel 6. Oh, I selected all of them. Okay. Let's come back here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A. Yeah, and then let's come in here to this class of tab and select all those. Come down. href. And we're going to point this to an anchor link. Panel. Text pastry. Like that. There we go. And if I click here, it should take me there. Okay, so we're going to use this. Aha. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So we'll come over here and we want the color to be, I guess, just black. Text decoration to be nunzo. And then what I want is if tab dot, let's see, tab is the target. No. Tab is active, because it should be the active link at that point. Then I can change the border color to that. I mean, it's active for a very few seconds. That's fine, though. I also would want this to be... that's not exactly what I want it to be like, but I think being HTML or CSS only, it's going to be hard to do something different. So we'll do background color. Is that? So if I hover... And if I click, this little border changes. Well, all that hack for nothing. I don't think that really helped. In fact, it's kind of distracting. So maybe let's just go back to getting rid of this. Let's see, get rid of that. This doesn't need to be 4 anymore. None of this junk. I'll just say border right 2 pixels solid and that, and then border left. All right, that'll work. Let's get rid of this. Okay. I guess what we could do is do that and then make this border for everything and get rid of this border so that the borders will just be on these items. That's more work than it's worth because then I got to change that. Okay, so there we go. Now it's switching up here. You can see how it's changing that. So now all we're going to do is say that the panel, let's see, target. Let's say, first of all, not the target. Then I just want this to be opacity 0. Actually, probably just display none. Oops. Display none. I guess let's do some basic styling here. First of all, panel. Let's see, padding 2 rem. Maybe that's too much. Let's do 1 rem. How about padding inline? Because maybe he already has something on this. Oh, it's the H2 has padding. Paragraph has padding. Okay. So then what we'll do is when you click on this, it should switch, and it does. So we got it working. That's cool. Now those look horrible, but the point is still the same. If you click to these, it switches. Okay, so, I mean, technically that's done. I got 15 minutes. Let's do something fun. Okay, so did we do what we were supposed to? Of course we did. All right, so let's... because technically I should be changing our expanded true to false. Like these should be false here. I should be toggling that. False here as well. Because ideally, like when you're using a screen reader or something like that, it should actually read out like what this controls, and then it should select this, and you can tab through that. So color white on hover. Oh, the text is supposed to be color white? Abdul, thank you. You're right. Okay, let's update that first. So let's go color and white. There you go. All right, I want to do something fun with this, but I think maybe let's just work on these hover states, or these focus states. But I think that might need to be it, because I think anything else is going to just take long for no reason. So we'll say outline of none, which you should never do unless you replace it, because right now I'm selected on that, but you can't tell. So we'll come in here and say tab focus visible. And here I want to say something important. Let's do outline 2 pixels. We're going to get our green no matter what. Solid. Oops. And we'll do that color. So if I tab over, oh, because of that one, it's not quite going to work right. Because this one's got these borders and nothing else does. Whoa, what was that? Oh, what is going on here? You guys see that? Now it's not working anymore. Oh. I don't know what that is. Some kind of weird bug. Okay. I'm blaming Chrome for that. So if you tab to those, it's a little bit different, I guess. We could do this. Can you do like inset or something? No. I think that's just with the border. All right, well, there you go. Now you can tab to those. It's not quite perfect because, those ones go below. I guess I can make sure that this is box sizing border box. Box sizing border box. That's not going to help me. What's my content box? Also not helpful. Okay, well, it's fine. All right, so there we go. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Again, these are all from Sean's coding challenges here, Coding in Public, the Net Ninja. I'm coding in public. I know who I am. It is early, but not that early. Let me switch back really quickly and just mention again that I'm doing a fundraiser here for St. Jude, and it's a children's cancer research hospital. If you give even $1 and send me your receipt through the link in the description, let's see if anyone's done it. Not yet. You can be entered to win a free Quokka JS license. So I'm going to give away 4 on October 1st. Nobody's done it yet. So if you give $1, you're going to win one at this point, all right, because nobody's done anything yet. But I'd love to raise, a couple $100. If you want to give $10, you get 10 tickets. So you obviously increase your chances of winning at that point. So this is September's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Let me transition this over here. Let's see. Sure, let's do that. Okay, there you can see me at least. So September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and childhood cancer is the #1 killer of kids 14 and under. St. Jude has basically published all their research and made it public for everyone. So because of that, they've brought the rate of death from 80% down to 20% since 1967, I think. And so this month, they're raising a bunch of funds to try to help fund it, because when you get treated at St. Jude as a kid, your family incurs no expense. They'll actually get you there on the hospital's dime, provide for all your meals, all your lodging. They fly people in from everywhere, from all over. And so this is a really noble cause, and I figured it was nice to be able to kind of partner up with Quokka or Quokka, however you use that, however you say that, to give away some of these licenses. And so it's a $55 value on normally the license that they gave me to give out, and I've got 4 of them. So I want to give them all out for this and make that an incentive for you to give and partner with me in this. So if you can give $1, that would be a huge help. You just go to the link in the description, give $1, you're entered to win, and that's your chance to win. If you can give 5, great. If you can give 10, great. But I think we should easily be able to give a few hundred. I've already given quite a bit myself as well, and I do each year in September. So I thought this was a great cause to kind of rally around. Tuesday, I've got a video showing how to use Quokka, however you say it, I should have probably asked them how you use it in a real life project. I showed you at the beginning of this video as well. If you want to go back and follow along with that, there's a bunch more I didn't show you that you may benefit from as well. There's a free version as well, so you can play around with that. But if you're interested in it and or you want to help stop childhood cancer, in fact, that's probably the main motivation, give $1 or $2. That would really be awesome to be able to actually use the channel to impact something valuable rather than just us learning how to code, which is also fun. Hopefully you had a fun time today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to code along with me. If I can be helped to you in any way, feel free to leave a comment in the description. Eventually, I've got this Astro course coming out. I've been absolutely slammed with other work stuff, and so at this point, unfortunately, the channel's kind of taken a back seat for me. So I'm working on that slowly, but I only have so much time in the early mornings and late evenings to work on this. So anyhow, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you'll give $1 to cancer research for kids. And if you have any other needs, let me know. I will talk to you next time. Thanks so much. Happy coding.